The film opens with a terrified girl who hears her sister's voice coming from the other room, crying out for help. Shaking with fear, the girl looks through the peephole and sees her own mother brutally stabbing her sister to death with a knife. Moments later, the mother slowly turns and looks straight toward the peephole. Frozen in terror, the girl tries to run away. Just then, her mother starts knocking on the door. When the girl peeks through the peephole again, her mother suddenly appears right in front of it, terrifying her. Out of sheer panic, the girl hides under the bed, desperately trying to convince herself that this is not her real mother. Meanwhile, the woman's husband, badly injured, calls the police and begs them to save his daughter's life. A police officer asks if his daughter is safe, but before he can say anything more, his possessed wife comes from behind and kills him. After that, the woman starts singing a lullaby as she walks toward her daughter. At the same time, the police arrive and open the door. The girl rushes toward them, begging for help, but suddenly she is lifted into the air and dragged inside by a demon. The scene then cuts to a mental hospital. Here we meet a female doctor named Olivia. 2 new patients have arrived at the hospital that day. One is Jamal, and the other is a girl brought in by the police. Olivia calls Jamal in first for a checkup. However, Jamal feels something strange when he sees the girl who was brought in by the police. There is a creepy smile frozen on her face. Olivia asks Jamal how he is feeling. We see him scratching his ear in a strange way, as if something is disturbing him. Suddenly, his behavior becomes aggressive, and he starts screaming repeatedly that he did not kill his mother. Olivia tries to calm him down, but Jamal keeps shouting that he is innocent and does not murder her. The reason for his condition becomes clear. The girl sitting outside is whispering nonstop, and its effect on Jamal is obvious. Seeing his worsening state, Olivia tells Nurse Uni to take Jamal away and calm him down. Even while being taken away, Jamal rushes toward the girl and screams again that he did not kill his mother. The girl, meanwhile, continues to smile eerily. That's why Officer Rudy now hands the case over to Olivia. The girl he had brought in earlier as a patient, her name is Chantika, is the same girl we saw at the beginning of the film, killing her own family. According to the police team's investigation, Chantika has some kind of mental disorder. The officer believes Olivia will be able to figure out whether Chantika truly has a mental illness or if there's some other reason behind all this. Olivia sits down to talk to Chantika and introduces herself, but Chantika doesn't respond to anything. She just keeps staring. Suddenly, she begins singing a lullaby right there. Hearing this, Olivia asks her why she's singing that song and whether it reminds her of someone. When Olivia then asks about Chantika's relationship with her children, Chantika turns the question around and asks Olivia the same thing. What kind of relationship she has with her own children? She keeps repeating the question again and again. Chantika starts losing control, stomping her feet on the ground like a mad woman. Because of this, Olivia steps out and tells the guard to keep an eye on her. Outside, Olivia tells Rudy that she can't help him with this case. But Rudy argues that it's only been a few minutes and she's already making a decision. Olivia explains that Chantika is showing symptoms of aggressive behavior, but she doesn't present herself like a typical mental patient. That's why Olivia recommends that another doctor evaluate her. Before leaving, Rudy hands Olivia Chantika's case file, which contains all her information. That night, Olivia is going through the file and comes across Chantika's family photo. Looking at it makes her feel uneasy, as if something is bothering her. She goes to the fridge to grab a drink, and behind her we see Chantika sitting there, only to vanish the next moment. Later, when Olivia goes to throw out the trash, she hears the same lullaby in the elevator that Chantika had sung in the hospital, but no one is there. When Olivia returns home, she hears her son's voice asking her to open the door, but this is just an evil trick. As soon as Olivia turns around, Chantika is sitting there instead, asking her the same question again. What kind of relationship Olivia has with her child? Terrified, Olivia tries to run, but Chantika appears in front of her again and throws the glass at her. Suddenly, Olivia wakes up. It turns out all of this was just a dream. The next day, we see one of Olivia's patients, Jane, come to meet her. She had come to Olivia for counseling and is now completely recovered. Seeing her makes Olivia very happy. As Nurse Uni is taking Jane back, another nurse suddenly calls her over, saying she wants to show her something. That's why Uni leaves Jane outside Chantika's room and steps away for a while. Just then, Chantika comes up to the door and says that Uni is going to die soon, which completely terrifies Jane. At that moment, Chantika is standing right in front of her. Out of fear, Jane locks herself inside a room, but Chantika reaches there too. Chantika attacks her, and Jane's scream echoes through the entire corridor. The head of the hospital then talks to Olivia because Jane has been admitted again. Her condition isn't stable, even though she was supposed to be discharged. The head doctor believes Olivia made a wrong diagnosis, but according to Olivia, Jane was absolutely fine. However, in the last 2 days, Two of Olivia's patients, both specialists at that hospital, have faced similar incidents. Because of this, Olivia is let off for now. But in Shantika's case, Olivia will have to prove herself because the hospital doesn't want to lose its reputation because of her. In the next scene, Rudy comes to meet her. Here, Olivia asks the officer about Shantika, so Rudy takes her to a restaurant to talk. We find out that the officer has been working on this case for a long time. Even before Shantika, there were several other victims. Rudy believes there is a reason behind what's happening with Shantika, just like in the previous cases. In those cases, too, the victims ended up the same way, as if someone had triggered them. But what exactly is that trigger? Rudy hasn't been able to figure it out yet. Shantika's case is exactly the same, and she too is a victim. Based on all the evidence found so far, it's clear that all the victims were in the same condition. Rudy tells Olivia to closely observe Shantika's every move and every word she says, because she is the only one who survived in this case. Her husband and children were killed by her. Rudy genuinely wants to know whether this is a medical condition or something else entirely. Olivia agrees to help him, but on one condition, that when she talks to the patient, Rudy won't interfere. Rudy agrees. After this, Olivia goes back to talk to Shantika and tries to find out what happened to her family. Suddenly, Shantika sticks out her tongue, presses it between her teeth, and bites it. Blood starts dripping onto the floor, and using her feet, she draws a symbol there. Seeing her in that condition, Olivia asks the nurse to take Shantika out of there. She tells Rudy that Shantika has drawn a symbol with her foot, something she knows nothing about. But if they can find out what that symbol means, they might be able to figure out the reason behind Chandrika's condition. That night, Rudy tries to dig up more information about it. At his place, he has photos of all the families who have been killed in a similar way so far. When he gets a video of Shantika, he notices something strange in it. That's why he sends the video to Olivia and asks her to pay close attention to Chandrika's walking pattern. Chandrika was walking in the exact shape of that symbol. While Olivia is watching the clip, Chandrika suddenly appears right in front of the camera, which completely freaks Olivia out. Later, when Olivia goes to the bathroom, the recording of Shantika that was kept in her bag suddenly starts playing on its own. Rudy had installed cameras and mics in Shantika's room and the observation room so hear what she said and see what she did, and Olivia the recorder that contained Shantika's voice. Now that recorder was playing inside Olivia's bag. Shocked and frustrated, Olivia throws it away. Even after tossing it, she's completely shaken. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, Uni is checking on all the patients to see if they're asleep. From Chantika's room, she hears a lullaby. Chantika asks Uni to open the door, but Uni tells her to rest and walks away. Suddenly, the demon inside Chantika screams loudly, and the lights start flickering. Chantika comes out of the room and attacks Uni. The next morning, the hospital staff called Olivia and informed her about the incident. Olivia heads to the hospital with the recorder, and the strange thing is that the conversation Uni had with Chantika the previous night is somehow recorded on it, even though that shouldn't have been possible at all. Olivia plays this recording for Rudy. Rudy believes that everything is connected to Chantika because everyone who has come into physical contact with her so far has been left terrified. He thinks it might be some kind of black magic, but Olivia doesn't believe that. Rudy then asks her for her conclusion because the previous night's conversation couldn't have recorded itself. Olivia's question is, if people get scared after coming into contact with Chantika, then why hasn't anything happened to her or Rudy yet? Maybe Chantika wants something from the two of them. That's why she's been playing with him so far. That's when Rudy finds out about the symbol. It's the same symbol that has been found at the sites of all the bloodshed and murder so far. Places where every suspect ended up killing themselves right at the location. That's why they couldn't question anyone. Rudy feels that Chandrika should be taken to some spiritual master. But Olivia explains to him that no matter who Chandrika is taken to, her condition isn't going to improve. Just then, the hospital head arrives and tells Olivia to resolve Chandrika's case as soon as possible, because it's affecting other people as well. Now they try to question Chandrika to find out what really happened that day. But Chandrika tells both of them to stay away from the case, especially Rudy. She starts abusing Rudy, and Rudy's about to pull out his gun. At that moment, Olivia shows Chandrika 2 photos and asks her why she's doing all this. That's when the demon inside Chandrika speaks to Olivia and says that maybe Olivia herself knows the answer better. Suddenly, the photos change into images of Olivia's husband and child, both brutally murdered. Seeing this, Olivia loses her temper and attacks Chandrika, but Rudy stops her in time. After this, they go to Chandrika's house to investigate. There, they find Chandrika's diary, in which she has written all her memories. From it, they learn that Chandrika loved her children deeply. Reading this makes Olivia emotional. Just then, Olivia hears her daughter's voice coming from the room in front of her. She sees her husband lying dead on one side, and she experiences a vision of the moment when her daughter died in her arms, when she held her close and sang her a lullaby. But Rudy snaps Olivia out of this vision. This is the real reason Olivia has been so emotional all along. This trauma pushed her into depression. In reality, Olivia's entire family was murdered by a killer who had a mental disorder. You might remember the moment when Olivia attacked Chandrika after seeing those two photos. The truth is, the photos Olivia showed were actually of Chandrika's husband and daughter, but that demon transformed them into images of Olivia's dead husband and child, just to mentally weaken Olivia as well. The next day, Rudy and Olivia discussed transferring Chandrika. However, Olivia still believes that Chandrika can be cured, because no matter how old a wound is, it can be healed through good memories. And here we find out that the person who killed Olivia's family was none other than her husband's brother, because he didn't like Olivia. He wanted a woman for his brother and niece who would focus on the family instead of being busy with her career. At this point, Olivia completely breaks down and explains that it was good memories that helped her come out of her depression. That's why Chandrika can also be healed through good memories. That night, Olivia talks to Chandrika again, reminding her of her children and the good moments she shared with them. She also reminds her how beautiful it feels to be a mother and says that she understands her pain because she too has lost her daughter. Here, she calls out to the real Chandrika. At first, it has no effect on her, but after a while, Chandrika regains her senses. She is deeply saddened by the fact that she killed her own family and says that Rudy is in danger. Meanwhile, the demon has already reached Rudy and tells him that Olivia will go with him. After saying this, it disappears and returns straight into Chandrika's body. To weaken Olivia, it repeats the same words that Olivia had said to her daughter in her final moments. Hearing this, Olivia completely loses control. She removes the bandage from her hand and is suddenly lifted up into the air, and the truth is revealed. The demon tells Olivia that it is the devil's messenger. Seeing Chandrika in this condition, Olivia becomes terrified and runs out of the room. Just then, two guards enter to calm Chandrika down, but she kills them. A short while later, Rudy arrives there to save Olivia. Olivia is seen walking around in confusion, and now there are two Olivias standing in front of him, both trying to convince him that they are the real one. Rudy asks what he and Olivia found at Chandrika's house, and the demon answers for them, telling him to shoot the real Olivia. But Rudy doesn't shoot Olivia, and because of that, the demon attacks and injures him. Olivia takes Rudy with her. Rudy then tells Olivia that Chandrika's diary mentioned how, little by little, Chandrika lost control over her emotions. She couldn't even control herself anymore. She started having hallucinations. That's why she used to write her good memories in the diary. And the exact same thing was now happening to Olivia. Slowly, Olivia was also losing control over her emotions. She began remembering her past, which made it even harder for her to control herself. All of this had started when Chandrika first saw that symbol, because the symbol represented the presence of the devil. And after seeing that symbol, the same things began happening to Olivia as well. Both of them come outside. Rudy tries to distract Chandrika and tells Olivia to run away from there. Olivia manages to get out, but Chandrika is still chasing her. Olivia runs into a room and locks the door from inside, but from outside, Chandrika keeps trying different ways to mentally break her. Chandrika starts repeating the same questions that Olivia had once asked her. At one point, Olivia completely loses control. She grabs the knife, opens the door, and starts stabbing Chandrika. But in reality, she doesn't stab Chandrika. She ends up killing Rudy with her own hands. After this, the scene cuts to some time later, where Olivia has become a mental patient. Her case is now with Dr. Nabila, who points to Chandrika's room number and asks Olivia what it means. Olivia suddenly lunges at Nabila and says that she will come back. The truth is, the demon has now made Olivia its new victim. You might remember Rudy saying earlier that in this case, almost all the victims had the same condition, mental problems. And now Olivia has also become a victim of that demon. Rudy had also said that in this case, no one survives except the victims, meaning there's no one left through whom the investigation can continue. And this time, the same thing happens again, because Rudy also dies. So after this, that demon will probably make Dr. Nabila its next victim, and this cycle will keep going on. In the movie's post-credits scene, we see Chandrika's daughter, the same girl we saw at the beginning, and she is alive. With this, the story ends here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, and also subscribe to this channel for more stories like this.